Right, the final results of the Kenyan presidential race are due anytime now. The Electoral Commission has said in a media release that it will announce the winner at 4 p.m. Kenyan time. It's not clear who the winner is, but Deputy President William Ruto is already at the National Tallying Center. Joining us now in studio is SABC International News Editor Sophie Mokoena for some reaction. A very good afternoon to you, Sophie. Right, so another wait at this point. I mean, what's the reason this time around? And I mean, it's taken quite long for the release of these results. There's something to be said about that.
Well, we are told that the other contender, that is Raila Odinga, hasn't arrived at the results center. William Ruto did arrive a few minutes ago, and therefore I think they are waiting for the other leader to arrive. But also I think the Electoral Commission doesn't want to make any mistakes. Previously, you know that there was a court challenge and the Electoral Commission was found wanting. And I think this time around, they really want to ensure that whatever it's been done by the Electoral Commission, it will pass the test of the courts. And I think that is why they are taking so long.
Let's talk about the two front runners. And I mean, to be honest, it really has been a two-horse race at this time. You mentioned them, Ruto versus Odinga. What are they offering essentially? And just to talk more on that, I mean, Odinga's team and of course his camp had stated that it's very clear that they've already won these elections.
Well, when you look at the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, he was talking about ensuring that he is going to fight corruption in that country. You know that there are allegations of corruption leveled against many senior government officials, including the sitting president, that is Uhuru Kenyatta, but also the Deputy President William Ruto. And that was his main issue, but also to reconcile and unite the Kenyans. When you look at what William Ruto is offering, it was more targeted at issues that are currently affecting the country, rebuilding of the economy, ensuring that you create a conducive climate for investment so that you can be able to create jobs for those who are unemployed, particularly the youth, but also talking about uniting the country. As you know that he doesn't come from the so-called dynasty families, and therefore it was hard work for him to be in politics. And when he joined Uhuru Kenyatta in 2017, he pointed out, I remember I spoke to him, that their main aim is to unite the Kenyans, and he is still maintaining that. But perhaps let's take a listen at what this insert compiled by Sarah had to say in terms of William Ruto.
I do believe that we're having a problem with that particular tape from the team, but let's see if they can work on it in the meantime. Let's talk about the role of President Kenyatta, and this was quite a big story in supporting Odinga. What impact has that really had for Odinga? I mean, to have that sort of support?
It's a mixed bag, because some people are saying, analysts who are observing the elections when they were announced in the respective constituencies, particularly for members of parliament and the Senate, it's that perhaps Raila Odinga's decision to work with Uhuru Kenyatta didn't bring him the numbers that he thought he will get, but also it has affected his fortunes. And on the other hand, you have people who are saying that it was good because that spoke to the spirit of reconciliation in that country. And therefore, I think the announcement of the presidential results will give a better indication in terms of whether it was wise for Raila Odinga to be supported publicly, including with state resources, by the sitting president.
Sophie, you mentioned a clip that you wanted to be played. Just talk to us about it before we play it. Just a reminder of what it is about. I believe that clip is ready at this point.
Well, I wanted to point out that when you look at William Ruto, a person who has no political clout in terms of the family, but he himself, having been a politician from a young age, fighting it to this point. Let's look at his profile.
Dr. William Samoei Ruto joined politics in 1992 while still a university student, drumming up support for the then President Daniel Arap Moi under the Youth for KANU 92, a youth wing for the then ruling party KANU. Then in the following elections in 1997, he vied and won a parliamentary seat in his Eldoret hometown. In 2002, he supported Uhuru Kenyatta's bid for the presidency, but Kenyatta lost to Mwai Kibaki. He was later to join hands with Raila Odinga in 2007 in opposing Mwai Kibaki's re-election bid. Kibaki went on to win in a disputed election that led to the post-election violence in which 1,100 people were killed and thousands displaced. When the International Criminal Court came calling, Kenyatta and Ruto were charged with committing crimes against humanity, but the charges were dropped due to lack of evidence to sustain both cases. That gave birth to a political marriage of convenience between Ruto and Kenyatta, which saw Kenyatta elected president in 2013 and 2017. In 2018, the breakup between the two started when Kenyatta reached out to his political rival Raila Odinga for a truce.
The president asked me that he wanted a different team to assist him. He signed an executive order that changed the format of government. I no longer chaired the committees of cabinet. I no longer participated in making crucial decisions. So it's just as it is.
A dejected Ruto dug in his heels and launched his presidential bid in March this year. The 55-year-old leader is ambitious and a go-getter.
William Ruto is a very hard-working Kenyan. He's an extremely brilliant Kenyan. And we need a clever president after what we have seen within Jubilee. And I think he's brainy.
So check.
He's running on a mantra of lifting up the poor, the so-called hustlers. However, he is wealthy, and so is his running mate, Rigathi Gachagua. His opponent, Raila Odinga, accuses him of being corrupt.
All they are running around the people around me is propaganda. And they're trying to intimidate people not to work with me.
The fallout with his boss Uhuru Kenyatta is complete, with Kenyatta now fully backing Odinga. So, can Ruto ascend to the presidency on his first attempt?
He still could win the election because this is a democracy. And I can tell you his hustler narrative has captured the imagination of Kenyans.
The Date with Destiny is on Tuesday, August 9th. Sarah Kimani, SABC News, Kenya.
When you listen to that profile, you can see that these leaders were currently friends at some point in time, and they became foes later. And I think this speaks to they can still find one another in terms of whoever wins. They can still reconcile and perhaps put Kenyans first and ensure that Kenya is at peace and also it is prosperous, as we know that it is one of the most prosperous countries in East Africa region.
All right, let's leave it there. Sophie Mokoena there for us, our SABC International News editor. As we await those final results from the presidential elections in Kenya, we understand you at any time, and we'll certainly give you those results as and when we do receive them. But we do understand that should be happening at around 4 p.m.